Hello everybody, slightly different format this week. I have the good fortune to be away on holiday, so I've only got my laptop and no second screen. So I'm going to have just use the website to have a look through what happened over the last game week. We'll do a look through my team, we'll do a look through the match centres, we'll do a look through the player points and ownerships, and then have a quick preview of what might be in store for this weekend. So let's have a look. Last week was a double game week, slightly different in cloud than sky, as the double game week had the midweek fixtures first and the weekend fixtures second, and I scored 164, which looks good on paper. But I know there are some better scores out there. Well done to those that did. We made one move this week. Romero was taken out for Gvardiol when it transpired that I didn't have any players at all on Saturday when the Liverpool and Everton derby was called off. So points scored. Muric with his customary 5, 9 for Robinson, 7 for Van Heck. Sorry, 5 for Van Heck. 1 for Virgil van Dijk. Gvardiol was captain, just 8 points for him. Palmer, 45. Saka, 7. Bowen, who was captain on Monday Night Football, 34. Salah, 34. João Pedro, 14. And Nicholas Jackson, 2. And the aforementioned Cristiano Romero was taken out for 0. So let's have a look at the leaderboards. So Melvin Poole at the top, 210 for the game week, 1,457 altogether. Ben Lee is in second, Barry Morrison third, Dean Hicks in fourth, Ben Parkin in fifth, early leader Duncan Bailey is in sixth, Shane White in seventh, Mark Hawes in eighth, Michael Blackburn in ninth, and Mark McFadden rounding out the top 10 in 10th. And we have a look for the game week scores. So Gary Robinson, 238. Very well done, Gary. Barry Morrison, 226. Alongside Sean Godman, 226. Thomas Lavelle, 222. Shane White, 221. Ben Lee, 218. Mark Hawes, 217. Richard, 216. And Chris Parry, 215. And in 10th, Keith Stulberg with 213. Well done there. Let's have a look and see who scored the points. And I haven't seen any of these matches as we were away, so it'll be interesting to see. Let's click this back to Game Week 14. So Ipswich 0, Crystal Palace 1. Nobody in tier 3s there. Goal scorers Mateta, assisted by Eze. Leicester City 3, West Ham 1. 3 tier points for Hermanson with saves. Christensen, Ndidi and McAteer with tackles. Kilman and Alvarez with passes. Bowen with shots. And the goal scorers were Vardy, Al-Khanous and Daka. Fulkrug for West Ham. Assists from Christensen, Al-Khanous, McAteer and Somerville. Everton 4, Wolves 0. Ashley Young, he was tier 3 tackles. He also scored. Mangala was the other goal scorer, and 2 own goals for Craig Dawson. Assists for Dwight McNeil, of course, twice. For Wolves, only Andre with tier 3, and Craig Dawson there ended up on -4. Definitely the lowest score of anybody this season. Manchester City 3, Nottingham Forest 0. Diaz with tier 3 in the passes. De Bruyne with tier 3 in the shots. Goals from Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne and Jeremy Doku. Assists for De Bruyne and Haaland. Nobody in tier 3s for Nottingham Forest. Newcastle 3, Liverpool 3. So for Newcastle, nobody in tier 3s. Goal scorers were Isak, Gordon and Cher. For Liverpool, Quansah and McAllister with tier 3 tackles. Goal scorers were Jones and Mohamed Salah twice. Assists for Mohamed Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold with 2. Southampton 1, Chelsea 5. Lumley in goal for Southampton with 6 saves for a tier 3. For Chelsea, Gusto with tier 3 tackles. Fernandes tier 3 passes. Palmer and Madueke with tier 3 shots. Goal scorers were Diassi and Kunku, Madueke, Palmer and Sancho. And assists for Gusto, Fernandes, João Felix, Madueke and Sancho. Arsenal 2, Manchester United 0. Nobody in tier 3 for Arsenal. Goal scorers were Timber and Saliba. Assists for Rice and Partey. For Manchester United, nobody at all. Aston Villa 3, Brentford 1. Matty Cash, tier 3 tackles. Ollie Watkins, tier 3 shots. Goal scorers were Rodgers, Watkins and Cash. Assists for Watkins. I think that's it. For Brentford, Damsgaard had tier 3 tackles. Flecken had tier 3 saves. A goal for Damsgaard, which looks to be unassisted. Fulham 3, Brighton 1. So nobody in tier 3 for Fulham. Goal scorers were Iwobi twice and Mark O'Reilly. Is it Mark? Well, O'Reilly anyway. 79th minute goal for him. Assists for Robinson and Pereira. For Brighton, Lewis Dunk was in tier 3 passes. Van Heck subbed off on 72 minutes, only had 55. And that was it for them. Their goal scorer was Balibar, assisted by João Pedro. Bournemouth 1, Spurs 0. Adams with tier 3 tackles for Bournemouth. Goal scorers Hewson, assisted by Tavernier. For Spurs, Forster with tier 3 saves. Udogi and Basuma with tier 3 tackles. Aston Villa 1, Southampton 0. So we're on to the weekend games now. So Maatsen, tier 5 tackles for tier 3 in the tackles. Goal scorer was Duran. Ollie Watkins was rested for that match and subbed off early in midweek as well this week. Southampton, Harwood Bellis was tier 3 passes, nothing else. Brentford 4, Newcastle 2. So Norgard with tier 3 tackles. Wisser tier 3 shots. Goal scorers were Mbuemo, Wisser, Collins and Sharda. Assists from Flecken. Very well done there. Norgard and Mbuemo. For Newcastle, nobody in the tiers at all. Tier 3 anyway. And the goal scorers were Isak and Barnes, and both assisted by Murphy. Crystal Palace 2, Manchester City 2. So Mitchell in the tackles tier 3. Goal scorers were Munoz and Lacroix, assisted by Hughes, both of them. For Manchester City, Nunez was in the tackles tier 3. Gvardiol, Diaz, Gundogan in the passes. Goal scorers were Lewis and Haaland. Lewis was also sent off. Assists for Silva and Nunez. Manchester United 2, Nottingham Forest 3. So for Manchester United, Martinez was the tier 3 passes. Goal scorers were Højlund and Bruno Fernandes. Assists for Diallo. For Nottingham Forest, Sells was in the saves for tier 3, Anderson in the tackles. Goal scorers were Milenkovic, Gibbs-White and Chris Wood. Assists by Anderson, Hudson-Odoi and Gibbs-White. Fulham 1, Arsenal 1. So for Fulham, Robinson and Berger, tier 3 tackles. Goal scorer was Jimenez, assisted by Teta. For Arsenal, Saliba and Partey in tier 3 passes. Goal scorers was William Saliba, assisted by Kai Havertz. Ipswich won, I don't know what I was going to say there. Ipswich won AFC Bournemouth 2. Smodics, tier 3 shots. Goal scorers Chaplin, assisted by Burgess. Bournemouth, Zabani, tier 3 tackles. Goal scorers were Unal and Utara, assisted by Utara and unassisted the second goal. Leicester 2, Brighton 2. So Hermanson was in the saves again, tier 3. Cody in the passes, tier 3. Goal scorers Jamie Vardy and Decadova Reed. Assist for Vardy. For Brighton, nobody in tier 3 at all. Goal scorers were Lamptey and Minter. Assisted by Estupinan and Weaver. Tottenham 3, Chelsea 4. So Basuma was in the tier 3 tackles. Also go away penalty, I saw. That was it for tier 3 for Tottenham. Goal scorers were Solanke, Kulusevski and Son Heung-min. Assist for Porro and Johnson and Maddison off the bench. For Chelsea, Palmer was in the shots. Goal scorers were Sancho, Palmer, Fernandes and Palmer again. Both penalties on it. Assists for Cucurella. Only 1 assist in 4 goals. Okay. And then West Ham 2, Wolves 1. Nobody in tier 3 for West Ham. Goal scorers were Souček and Bowen. Assists for Kudos and Bowen. For Wolves, Lamina was in tier 3 tackles with 6. And their goal scorer was Doherty, assisted by Nori. So let's have a look at some player points. These are the overalls. So Mo Salah at the top, 142, followed by Cole Palmer, 132, and Erling Haaland, 128. Bit of a drop off then to the only other player over 100, which is Bukayo Saka. Then we have Van Dijk and Buemo, Wood, Jackson, Watkins, all in the 90s. In the 80s, Saliba, Iwobi is shot up nicely there, 3.5 million. Jared Bowen, Cunha, Bruno Fernandes, Gvardiol, Onana, Andre Onana for Manchester United, Wissa and Maddison in the 80s, and the tops in the 70s, Gabriel and Brennan Johnson. Have a quick look. Goalkeepers. So Onana at the top, then Sells, 2 more then in the high 60s in sort of joint third, Pickford and Raya. Dean Henderson now, the 6th highest scoring goalkeeper, although really popular and one of the cheapest. Done well. Defenders. Virgil van Dijk at the top with 97, Saliba and Gvardiol in the 80s. Any other surprise? Mazraoui's maybe surprised there in 7th place. Okay, look at midfielders. Cole Palmer, head and shoulders at the top now, 132. Saka, head and shoulders second, really. And then as a bit of a clutch with Iwobi and Bowen in joint third. Kluivert doing well there. He's in another one in 7th position, 2.7 million. João Gomez, another one that's moving up now for a very disappointing Wolves, but he seems to be doing okay. Then the strikers. So Mo Salah at the top, Haaland second, then everybody else below 100, and Buemo in third. Any surprises there? Strand Larsen maybe, another one at Wolves, 78. Only 2.8 million. Okay, let's have a quick look at the bonuses. Do this just on the totals, I think. So Ruben Diaz sitting at the top on 34. Mateo Kovacic in second. And joint third, Christian Romero, who's injured now, I believe, 5-6 week injury. And Erling Haaland, they're on 32. Bednarek still high up there for a very disappointing Southampton. Flecken still the highest on goalkeepers for bonus points. No other surprises there, I don't think. Maybe Munoz, 25. Palace seem to have improved anyway. Okay, let's have a quick look at ownership. Cole Palmer sitting nicely at the top there, 73. Mo Salah, 60. Saka and Haaland over 50. Smith Rowe dropped down a bit now, is 40%. Dean Henderson, 36. William Saliba, 35, alongside Jared Bowen. Van Heck there, 34. Gabriel, 30. Then Isak did well for people that brought him in, 25. Romero still in 25. Guardiola, 23. And Buemo and Solanke, the others, over 20. And then rounding out the top 20, Jackson, João Gomez, Bruno Fernandes, Bruno Guimaraes, and Pedro Porro. If we have a quick look on the match centre, this is what we've got coming up this weekend. So Arsenal at home to Everton. I think it's a 3 o'clock kickoff. The TNT game, I think, is Sunday night because Tottenham were playing in Europe on Thursday. So Arsenal against Everton, I expect Arsenal to win fairly handily. I'll go for 2-0. Liverpool v Fulham. I think Liverpool will win again. It wouldn't surprise me if that's the second 0-0. Newcastle at home to Leicester. Newcastle well beaten at Brentford last week, but are scoring goals. Leicester seem to be scoring as well. I think Newcastle probably win with home advantage. I'll go for a 2-1 win. Wolves against Ipswich. Is this the first relegation 6-pointer of the season? I think Wolves will have enough to get out, to be honest. Ipswich I'm less sure of. I'll go for Wolves to win, but both teams to score. I'm going to go for 2-1. Nottingham Forest against Aston Villa. Villa buoyant after another good display in Europe in midweek. Forest seem to be fairly well at home these days. Villa might just have enough. I'll go for Forest 1, Villa 2. Brighton against Crystal Palace. The M23 derby. Brighton scoring. Palace getting better. That might be quite a good game, actually. I'll go for Brighton to win. I'll go for 3-2, high scoring. Manchester City against Manchester United. Manchester derby at the Etihad. Okay, so two poor teams, really, at the minute. I'll go with home advantage. Tight win for City, 1-0. Chelsea Chelsea against Brentford, West London derby. I think this will be quite entertaining as well. Chelsea to win. I'll go for 3-1. Southampton against Spurs. Southampton really need to get something going, but I can't see it. Tottenham played Rangers on Thursday in midweek, drew 1-1. Will they have enough? They'll definitely score. I think both teams will score here. I think I'll go for Spurs to sneak it 2-1 away from home. And then Monday Night Football, Bournemouth against West Ham. West Ham seem to have found a bit of form. Bournemouth have played well at home this year. Maybe a high-scoring draw, 2-2 maybe. So let's see how that all pans together. Hopefully I'll be able to do something similar again next week because we are still away. Any feedback, please let me know whether it's worked well, it hasn't worked well. And I will see you soon. If you enjoyed what you've seen, please leave a like on the video. If you want to subscribe to the channel, please do. And if you want to use the updated transfer planners, you can join us over on Patreon, patreon.com/Cloudy Sky Fantasy Football Show. All right, cheers everybody. Enjoy the football, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.